Going.
Oh, we're live now.
All right, FCS Fans Nation, Jackrabbit Illustrated, Waxon Weekly, all represented early here tonight. Welcome to our live episode pre-Frisco. Right now you have me, Jamie Williams. You have Brandon Owens. You've got Dallas from the Jackrabbit Illustrated. You've got Chad from the Jackrabbit Illustrated. We are ready for Frisco. We are a week and a half out from our trip. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight? Brandon, how are things in Alabama? How are you feeling, buddy?
Everybody decided to forget how to drive here because it's icy and us Southerners are not used to this. Me, on the other hand, the past couple of days, I have been in quarantine because I got diagnosed with COVID. So,
yeah, that's
much rather get sick now.
Better now than next week.
Yes.
That is a bold strategy. Good job with that.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like you plan to do that. Let's get it over with. Right?
It is.
I just
Get it done. Move on. Are you guys warming up there? What's it? So we've gone back and forth.
It got into the 50s today.
Okay. We went back and forth on the thread a bunch, and as much as it's easy for us to make fun of people in the South, it's supposed to be minus 15 in Minnesota. It's not supposed to be 2 degrees in Alabama. So I will give you that. That is not normal. That's not okay.
Yeah, it wasn't okay when we had 9 degrees either. Yeah. Dallas, how's it going for you tonight?
Good, real good. Jumping around, doing the parent stuff, lots of kids things here between the holidays, which is awesome. Saw Wakanda Forever today, finally. I've been holding off until my daughter got home so we could watch it together. So that was awesome. I loved it.
Awesome.
Yep.
Chad, what's up with you, buddy?
Not a whole lot, just a little work, back to the JOB today. First time in a week, maybe?
Boo.
Yeah. I know, state job, you get what you pay for.
I've got 17 days off. I go to work for 3, then I go to Frisco. I'm actually currently at my father-in-law's place, about 15 minutes from William & Mary down in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Is Stumpy's a bar? Hey,
yeah, that was my wife. She decided to just make a quick little. It's a hatchet house, so it's where we go axe throwing.
I always thought that was strange being an Eagle Scout. We did that when I was 10.
I tried it once. I'm so bad at it.
Yeah, it takes a while to get that rhythm down. We actually went the other day. It was a lot of fun. I've been 3 times. I actually have one in Frisco.
You got to know how to step it off properly. And I suppose with the lines that they have, they don't, you have to be behind their line for safety. And we didn't have any of that shit.
Well, it's a good time if you ever get an opportunity. They do have one in Frisco. I thought about that being kind of the thing we do.
Team building.
That's right. One more coming in. We have
supporting McNeese there. Is that are we going full McNeese mode or what are we doing?
We got Matthew Frazee with the 10-year-old basketball uniform t-shirt on under the penny.
I love it.
I have a big announcement to make.
Is that Penny Hardaway?
Big announcement to make, gents.
What's that?
I decided to change allegiance. I will be changing from the Bison to a South Dakota State
Jacksonville
fan.
State, right?
And as an SDSU fan, it's the end of December, near January, so I'm getting ready for basketball. It's time for basketball. Football's over. I knew that's where I put on my basketball uniform.
There's the dig. I knew this was a trap.
If you're the typical NDSU fan, you need to say I'm getting ready for women's basketball.
Let's do
do this.
Oh, this is a bad year to be an SDSU basketball fan. I think you're making a poor choice.
I got,
they even lost to us.
Do you know, as a Bison fan, how to pull this off? Look at this. I had to go Idaho underneath, and I have to go McNeese in the hat.
That's the hat. I knew it.
I had to go McNeese in Idaho.
Well done.
And a JV Maple Valley Raiders high school basketball uniform to even pull that thing off.
Well done.
There you go. I thought we would have more interference here, but they'll probably just pop in and out, so that'll be fun for them.
You know what I love about following Dallas on Twitter is that Musk and Twitter is like, dude, you like the Dallas Cowboys, so I think their algorithm is so bad. Dallas just posts like pro SDSU stuff all the time. But it's like, you're gonna like this because this guy's in Dallas.
I'm very myopic. That's all I tweet about.
I think you're a little off there.
I've curated a very nice feed for myself. SDSU football only, nothing else.
So this guy, TND Big Jacks, he's taking a shot at Brandon and I, but he's taking a shot at himself too. But yeah, this is FCS Fans Nation.
Yeah.
Pretty bold with the Gamecocks logo there, buddy.
I mean, I guess you guys could still be fans of the FCS.
Well,
I
I will
worked for
still
me.
be on Wax Sun Weekly. We're about to change our name, though.
You have to switch it up.
What the name's gonna be.
Did we ever figure out, Jamie, did you ever officialize an FCS team, or are we doing that in Frisco or something? Did we ever officialize your allegiance?
I just basically wear a shirt of one team that wins every week. I felt like that worked pretty well.
That is a pretty solid way to just run it, honestly.
Yeah, that way I don't actually.
I
can
pick a team.
No, I can't. I couldn't do that. It's hard to just have an allegiance without it being a true built allegiance, and it can't be a CAA team. So that's. I mean, it's fun to go watch William and Mary, but I can't pledge an allegiance to a CAA team, and otherwise, it's got to be somebody I can kind of go see. But
Jamie, you said
that's
team
why.
that
That's
wins.
why.
Sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
I was about to say that's why my team that I picked is on the other side of the country.
that's true too. But you got to stay up too damn late to watch them.
Jamie, you said you
I
pick a
already
team
knew,
that wins
so.
every week. That means since the Iowa game, the only answer would be SDSU, correct?
Well, there's plenty of teams that win.
You said wins every week.
Yes, that's what I switch each week. What? Just watch the
It
shirt.
is-
It's got to be some.
Jamie
I
likes
thought you said a team that wins
All
every
right.
week.
No, just
That's
any
true.
team. Can be any team. Behind you, oh my God, look out.
William.
I've got an axe
whole
behind me
family.
because I've got. Yeah.
It is an axe.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's an axe.
I think it's a hatchet, technically. An axe is a little.
Anybody want to get on and say anything?
Hi.
That was astute.
This is
Great
horrifying.
radio.
Jamie, Jamie, is your beautiful wife taking some of those Frisco Kyler shots tonight and coming in with axes or what?
She really wants to take some shots, but she actually is on medication. She has bronchitis, so no drinking for her tonight. So she just randomly
Lord
walks
Jesus,
in
it's a
sober with the
fire.
axe. So,
Ooh.
Sorry.
and she is wearing flannel, so it's a lumberjack look. Her and her dad are in flannel.
Oh, Dustin would be so proud.
Yeah,
but
the
this
Rev
is-
would be pumped.
But this is what I have to watch out for. I could, she's sober walking around with an axe. So
The Rev representation.
Jason Plotkin had to go ahead and take a shot at the Rev, which is kind of funny there. Whereas he didn't think it was Battle of Piney Woods and no show. Should have added like SFA usually does, but he didn't do it. So Matt came in with a bang. We didn't even find out how you were doing. How was Christmas? How were the kids?
Christmas was good. We chilled at home, similar to Dallas, spent time with the kiddos, and kind of just nostalgic and fun to see it through their eyes. Tiring, but good. Kids got a lot of their gifts, and I don't know, it was just very low key. I snowblowed 13 or 14 times, so just straight dad mode in it through the Christmas weekend. But it was a nice little break, and I am all giddy now. I think I'm really starting to feel, I'm forgetting that even New Year's is coming up. I'm getting all the Frisco feels to
Well, I'll
be
tell
down there
you,
next week.
This is going to be really unpopular with everybody but Matt. But I took nieces to the zoo last Wednesday, and her other grandparents are NDSU grads. So I sat her up next to where
Good
the bison
people.
was at the zoo, and I taught her horns up and sent a picture to her grandparents. And she did it very well at 3 years old, so that was pretty fun for her.
Yeah, but Chad and Dallas will tell you is they go,
Yeah.
if you can teach them horns up, it's just as easy to do it down.
Yep,
yeah.
Exactly. Dude, I love the graphic you posted about people arguing about whether ears or horns should be up or down, and that's all that matters for the next 2 weeks. That was well done.
That was pretty solid.
That's virtually all I've seen. I haven't seen one team just be like, well, your red zone defense isn't that great. Everyone's just like, ears up, horns down.
Your special teams adjustments in the third quarter have been suspect in the second half of the season. No, horns down.
Hold on. We've got to pause, everybody. We have to welcome the actual host of this show, the one and only Rev Dustin Helton. He does have a good reason for not being here. Rev, take it over, brother. So here's this. I don't know if you saw this shot that Jason already took at you.
Oh, that's funny from a guy who I don't care about anymore because his team is irrelevant in FBS. But that's good, Jason. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm having to use a different mic because my laptop updated and now my old mic doesn't work with the laptop anymore.
Hey, welcome to Windows.
Yeah. Thanks, Windows.
I had to do a mic adjustment too. I tried to blame Chad for not being able to hear, but it was actually my microphone. So
yeah, well, I could make fun of. He has to live in Michigan now, and I feel like that's punishment enough for being a Bearcat. So let's go on. So no, my apologies for being late. We had a incident at the house today. My daughter broke her arm roller skating, so we had to go take care of that, get her fixed. But she's okay. she's back home.
Josh Hoffman wants to see a Christmas present from everybody. Anybody have anything handy? Because I sure don't.
I mean, I bought my own SDSU wrestling shirt.
There you go.
Present to myself.
Counts. No, I got nothing.
Y'all, Matt Frazee just left the camera, so he clearly has something to show.
He's no longer in the closet. That's kind of strange.
Yeah, he's moved to a nice little. I think one of his boys overtook his closet, so he got kicked out.
He's got a nice little studio. Yeah, I'm in the closet under the stairs, Harry Potter style. So I got nothing here.
There you go.
We'll stay away from your socks, Dallas.
Josh gave his dad a ticket to Frisco, so they'll be traveling down to root on the Jackrabbits.
Well,
Mr. Frazee's back.
Okay,
so let's see what we've waited on.
This will be kind of fun. Brandon, are you the youngest one here? How old are you, Brandon?
27.
You're 27. Okay. Chad, okay, 27.
Hey, if Will pops on tonight, he'll be the youngest.
Brandon and Rev, how old are you? This will be good.
I'm 41.
40. Okay, this is perfect. Okay, Brandon, I'm gonna put this Christmas present that my two older boys got up to the screen. Okay. I want you to tell me what you think it is, and then Rev, I want you to do the same thing. You ready?
Is this the show Generation Gap?
Yeah, we're gonna see. Brandon might guess. All right, you ready? Here you go.
Why don't you feature yourself?
What do you think this is?
Oh God, I know what I think it is.
I think I know what it is.
Take a guess.
Give it a guess.
Oh, what is the name of those toys? My parents used to collect them.
Because generationally, I know what I would call it.
I know what I call it.
Chad, what would you call it?
Is it annoying? Is it a Furby?
That's what I would call it.
Yeah, me too.
So they're called Purbles. I guess it's got a little heartbeat, and like when your kid's freaking out, they can pet them and the heartbeat slows down. But this is basically like a modernized Furby.
It is.
Yeah.
If I remember it, the Furby had a beak. It was much more threatening than that.
This thing's got like a heart nose and stuff. Yeah,
I definitely would have said
Furby.
It's the
PC Furby, basically.
The best thing about Furbies are teaching them how to curse and just getting them to curse a storm.
Here, we'll set him down here.
Yeah,
I think this is the first time. I think we're plus 50%, 40 plus.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
I'll say the Furby reminds me of whenever I was a kid, and Jamie and Chad will probably remember this, although they'd come back, but we had Teddy Ruxpin when we
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember that. I never had any of those cool toys. That wasn't my
I used to steal my sister's Guns N' Roses tape and put him inside Teddy Ruxpin. So Teddy Ruxpin was saying, "Welcome to the jungle."
Welcome to Nostalgia Radio, everybody.
Hey man, I used to jam out.
I love it.
Look what the cat dragged in, and my Fisher Price like handheld.
Yeah.
And
it was Josh.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, Josh, you asked for a Christmas present. I don't have one with me, but my birthday's close enough to Christmas, and so here's an old school Vancouver Canucks jersey that I got for my birthday to add to the.
Absolute baller. I love that.
solid logo on the Canucks there. 1994 NHL final style. Yes, before Brandon was born.
Couldn't get the Pavel Bure
Yeah.
one. That's all right. This will be good by itself. So
Christmas
I
was
in
different
Vancouver.
for.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
Looks like there's somebody else to add to.
I was just gonna say I was in Vancouver the night that Steve Bertuzzi knocked that ball out.
Hold on.
Oh,
What's happening? This is
What is occurring
worse.
down there?
What is this?
It's not
Hey guys, I got bored waiting,
Welcome.
and I'm just late because of who I am as a person. Not anything important.
No actual. So we actually have an FCS question for Matthew Frazee here from Facebook. Curious as a Bison fan, what are the feelings about other Bison podcasts among NDSU fans? One specifically he's thinking of seems to do more than usual smack talk.
Bison podcasts really, they've kind of slowed down, honestly, as Bison 1660 has ramped up, the AM station that's been sponsored up here. It basically has taken on a life of its own. It has its own YouTube channel. A few podcasts come from it. I'm sure he's talking about maybe was it the Benchwarmers is the one of them, but
Swanee got a podcast though?
Swanee did the Bison Illustrated one for the longest time, but I know with him, he's about to have a second kid, and I know his practice is really ramping up, so he hasn't been able to really be on it over this last year. He was really big for our charity last year with Central Cast, so shout out to him again. But no, I think if you're gonna listen to straight Bison content, of course you're gonna get some homerism, but that's what the entire state and Fargo wants to hear. So if you want to expand the mind a little bit, this is a good network to tune into, I think. I am getting antsy to ask these SDSU guys my question. I messaged them like 2 weeks ago that I had a good one.
Oh, that's right. Matt had a good question.
We way outnumbered poor Matt.
Good question. It's a genuine question. I don't think anyone's talked about, and maybe there's a reason for it. Okay. Your phenomenal coach, 65 years old. Is there any hint in your minds, because there's clearly not even anything in the rumor mill, that if he beats NDSU and in Frisco to finish 14-1 and capture a national title, will he actually? Is there something in your mind that goes, do you think he might consider retirement? Or you think he could coach there till probably the day he dies? He could go all the way till the end. But I mean, that would be a legendary final step. But what are your thoughts on that? That's a genuine curiosity of mine.
It would. You guys good if I take this one first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So he is both publicly and privately, and I only say privately because he said it publicly a bunch, discussed how it's not fair to his wife to continue coaching forever, because I've made jokes with him, talking to him at camps and texting him and stuff about how I want him to coach my son. And he's like, oh, when's he going to be a senior? And he's like, nope, because that'd be 4 years from now to recruit him. And I forget, what's he got left in his contract, 3?
He just signed the 3-year contract. I think that included this year.
Okay, so 2 years left on that. He's never said it, but without, this is just me guessing, I'd actually guess over 50% chance that he would walk away after that. The thing that's a question mark is, obviously this has been his life for the majority of his life, right? So I don't know, there's no clear succession plan at this point. I mean, there's a couple guys that could be there's guys in the tree that could come back, but no one's talking about it, and that's a very interesting point. But I would not be shocked at all.
My only thought about that would be he would only do it if he knew exactly who he wanted to take his place, not feeling like he was going to leave the program high and dry. So if he had that in mind, I could definitely see it. But like you said, at 65, he already looks like, Grandpa sitting down there at the fireside chatting with everybody. Might as well go do it. But
it would be tempting, though. SDSU walks away with the title, let's say, here next or 2 weekends from now. I mean, when you look at SDSU going into we're already looking into next season, Jesus. But you get a Mark Gronowski as a sophomore, and you guys got commitments from 2 of your big old linemen to come back, and the schedule, as Thumper's pointed out a million times, just like SDSU get completely shafted, and the next year it's like, oh, this ain't so bad. You would look at next year if you win and not think, boy, our odds to truly run it back, especially with what NDSU will lose and others, is going to look really tempting as well. So it might be nice to go out on a high note, but SDSU is, especially if they win, undoubtedly will be locked in for a number 1 seed to start the season. So I was just really curious about that because I Googled his age and then I saw, whoa, 65. And that's when my wheels started to turn a little bit. So,
well, the interesting thing here, I think this has been a little bit of a topic amongst SDSU fans for the last 3-4 years. I mean, when the last contract was coming up, and the reason it's so memorable, I think they announced it after the play in the down south that we try not to talk about, and that was interesting timing with announcing that. But yeah, it's kind of been a topic for a little while amongst some SDSU fans. I know I get asked that semi-regular. Do you think he hangs it up? Do you think he hangs it up? But like you mentioned, they're going to be bringing a lot back. There's the guys have already been committed. There's rumors of other big contributors who might come back anyways, that seem like they're leaving. So it's going to be a really, really strong team again next year, especially when you're bringing back the entire offensive line. So it'll be curious. I'm curious to see what he does. I mean, Stig's going to be allowed to retire when he wants to retire. It would take something truly catastrophic to force him out of the position.
Go ahead, Brandon.
So do you think it's more likely that he tells the administration at SDSU that he's going to finish out this contract and then he's done?
I would, again, this is just complete speculation, but I'm sure these conversations have happened more than once already. I'm guessing they've talked about what if this happens, what if that happens. Yeah. And the point I was going to go back to, I think Matt mentioned it, was I would lean more towards he will stay if the succession plan isn't clear and obvious versus staying to grab a second natty. If we're fortunate enough to be in that position, right?
Right. That's kind of what I was alluding to, because if he tells the administration that he's going to finish out his contract, that gives SDSU 2 years to look for somebody to replace him. Yep,
it is. And now we're in the spot where, being a high-profile FCS team, where you're going to get you're very likely to get your coordinators plundered every year, right? And that's another topic that was highly underrated for us this year. Was we turned over almost our entire coaching staff and are doing this, which I think is a huge deal. So you've got you had Eck, you had Berge, who's the head coach at Winona State Division II school, that I completely believe that Stig would be comfortable handing over the reins to him. Those two are gone. So now it's just a matter of who's next, and is somebody going to come back, or what would happen, and who knows.
Interesting. I appreciate your thoughts on it.
Another good question. Go ahead. Who got something?
I was just going to say, I don't think any SDSU fan that actually follows SDSU football will be all that surprised if he announces, say we were to win, if we were lucky enough to win, and he announced, next year's my last year, we're putting together a succession plan. I don't think anyone would be surprised. That's the guy said everything else. So.
Just Jason Plotkin, I'll get to your question a little bit. We're going to continue a little bit more with this kind of discussion here. With NDSU missing a lot of games and the fact that they can't throw the ball any better than I could left-handed, what does scare the Jackrabbits about NDSU right now?
Nothing scares us.
I was like, can I answer this question? You know I'm not a Jackrabbit?
Yeah. Go for it.
It's the golden horseshoe that NDSU has up their ass.
I was going to say that. I wasn't going to say golden, but I was going to say that word for word.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's not the team. It's the luck that they seem to have. The luck that they had against. I mean, come on, the luck that they had against Incarnate Word. Let's be honest.
That's Fargo Dome magic, though.
So
yeah, but
Matt's biting his tongue off.
Well, see,
I have a good response, but I'll let everything finish.
Well, I'll get to you, Matt, because I know you've probably got a nice zinger to throw at him. But I said it weeks ago. In the playoffs, I'd rather play SDSU in Fargo than Frisco because I don't want them to have 3 weeks to prepare. That's what would scare me, is 3 weeks to prepare. Matt?
I'm a huge fan of Colin Cowherd, and he's had so many ex-players on talking about the Tom Brady effect, where they talk about they look across the sideline, and I don't think SDSU has this as much as most. You can maybe Incarnate Words and some others. But they look across the sideline, they can literally think to themselves in the fourth quarter, if the game's close, they're like, I know he's over there. And there's something about a mental psyche of the Nick Saban and the Tom Brady and the other side that just for some reason makes weird things happen, or this uncommon mistake, or this stupid plan that you thought was going to go one way or the other. and straight from the horse's mouth of these former NFL players. And I think that has to do with some of the things we see. I mean, I said for weeks NDSU was never going to beat James Madison in 2017. If you play that game 10 times, NDSU maybe wins it twice. Jamie's going to throw his headset. But if you put it just on paper, there's something about that preparation within that big moment. And, there's something about that. To the throwing thing that is interesting to me, one of the things that has annoyed me a lot on the last week and a half is the incarnate word game. I guess I'll quote my good friend Kyler Neal, matchups, and Cam Miller was not good. I'm not going to defend him there, but matchups create results within games. And when it comes to Cam Miller, I'm like, everybody's comping incarnate word and thinking this is just like the most perfect thing. And I'm like, no one's going to talk about a 17 for 22 passing game for 227 yards and 2 touchdowns by Cam Miller when he played South Dakota State. I mean, NDSU, they put a bad game plan together and did not adapt into the second half and choked up horrifically. But they came out in a way to think like, okay, if we just run the ball, we're going to get murdered. So let's take advantage of some of these cover 2 schemes and throw the ball in little pockets where Cam can get it where it needs to go. That's a good passing game. So it's going to be very interesting. NDSU does not deserve to be favored. On paper, they are not the better team. They haven't been the better team all year, but they just have to beat their rival one time. They have to play 4 quarters against a rival. And they have to win the rivalry game in a stadium where they've won 9 times. And that's what I think would be more scary. It's kind of what you guys just labeled it the horseshoe, but that's what would be scary to think like the rival, we just have to beat the rival team once is all NDSU is thinking.
Yeah,
and
it was
after getting kicked by him for 4 straight times, just getting kicked by him and kicked by him and kicked by him and kicked by him. And how many times can you get kicked down before you stand up to the bully and go, all right? Because it's flip-flopped. NDSU's they've been getting their ass kicked by SDSU. So
in the regular season.
But I mean, I'm not defending NDSU to say, hey, guess what? We're coming. We're going to win. South Dakota State deserves to have all the props to be the top team and the favorite here. But it's definitely going to be a different psyche than just like a straight up matchup on paper.
But if you look at matchups between both North Dakota State and South Dakota State in the playoffs, who's won? It's always been North Dakota State.
Oh, we know.
Oh yeah, we're aware.
The one thing I will say in defense of the Jacks, and on that point, a lot of people like to say that, and I do agree. But 2014 was a 1 minute left miracle throw by Wentz in the back corner. I mean, that SDSU had that game. So to their defense, they don't just go to NDSU and get blown out in the playoffs every time they play them. And 2018 was an outlier because that team was ridiculous. So I think this is SDSU's.
Caught it in the end zone and it got called not a touchdown, but whatever. I'm not.
It doesn't matter. We won that game anyways. Who cares? But here's the thing for me as a Jacks fan, and then I got 2 things. As a Jacks fan, you look at this. We've never beat NDSU in the playoffs is a big thing. As a part of a fan psyche. Like when I talk to my NDSU friends, they're like, "Well, you guys hate us more." Well, yeah. And they used to say that, especially 3, 4, 5 years ago. And I said, yeah, wait till you lose to us a couple times. And then we'll see how really the rivalry on the North Dakota State side feels if eventually they lose to us in the playoffs, because I cannot even verbalize the pain that is to especially some of those teams we've had where you have all-time great players like Zach Zenner, Jake Winicki, and then their seasons ended by NDSU or their career, and it's just brutal. But from you were talking about how that Tom Brady sort of effect or playing the Bison effect. That's where I think as an SDSU fan you feel good because you have a guy like Mark Gronowski. Is he going to throw up Lindsey Scott numbers? No, he's not. But
he doesn't have to in that offense.
He doesn't have to. And also, I heard it so many times from NDSU fans talking about their quarterbacks. I wanted to puke, but it was he's got the it factor. He's got the it factor, starting all the way back with Brock Jensen, who I think really totally had it more than even Wentz or Stick. But Mark just has that it factor. There's a reason he's only lost one game that he's actually played the entirety of the game and against FCS competition. And the dude's just a gamer who wins, and he's got that attitude that carries a team where you could be down in the Fargo Dome like they were in the first half and you turn it around, because that's never happened. That never happens in that building, literally ever. And you need someone special to be able to do that. So Easton Stick's going to have a big game like he did in the first one.
I've never been a fan of a rival player as much as Matt Too Crazy is a fan of Mark Gronowski. He will openly say it. Matt does love Mark Gronowski.
Thumper tried to burn me there, but I'm like, what do you want me to say? No, I have comped Mark Gronowski to Easton Stick many times. He's got a little more swag. Easton Stick has like zero social media. He is the most hidden human on planet Earth. But I've heard more Bison fans say this statement in my tailgate and other fans that I know than anywhere else is when Mark Gronowski does plays or they show clips or something against NSU, I've heard this exact statement. That's the guy we normally get. Why didn't we recruit that guy? I've heard that about Mark Gronowski since the spring season over and over and over again, because they look at Mark Gronowski, and Jacks fans are going to hate this, and Gronowski can clip this right here and he can make some cool little reel and then he can do the horns down, but he is built like exactly what a Bison quarterback is. And I know he'll be like, no, I'm a Jack, whatever. Yep. Save the clip. But
we'll make that for him.
He's built exactly like what normally NDSU sees. And so that is something to be envious of. And yeah, Thumper's straight up. That dude has the it factor. So scary, scary, scary. He's not going to go screw up down in Frisco. So no.
Back to just to make this a little more a mutual admiration society here. Back to what might scare Jacks fans. So yes, you've got a team that's 9-0, excuse me, in that stadium, right? And then even though it's well documented we're the best team in the FCS against the run. We've had chinks in the armor a couple of times, not dramatically, but it happens. And when you've got a team where I don't care who you're missing, that offensive line is that good, because they are. I don't know how. They just clone that offensive line year after year, right? And still solid running backs, because we talked about this on our pod that, there are no bad players on that team. There's no bad players on the Jacks either, but, people go to Fargo to win. There's guys that turn down, preferred walk-ons and maybe scholarships at other schools to go there and to win. So they're very, very deep. And I don't think anybody's thinking that the Jacks are going to walk in and this is going to be easy by any means.
Well, when's the last time? SDSU, we've had some games where we were dominant. The last time in Brookings comes to mind where that was a dominant game. Or even the time up in Fargo where we ended up winning with 3 seconds left. That was 2016. Statistically dominated that game and stalled out like 5 times inside the red zone or something silly going for it on 4th down. SDSU can dominate the game to the ends of the earth, and it'll be a 1-score game at the end of the game.
Yep.
It always happens. We are not going to blow out NDSU because the gods have forbidden it, and it won't happen.
10 points will be a blowout for either side.
Yep. And it'll make for great TV.
Let's take a little pause on the Dakotas real quick and talk about the news of today. I don't know if any of you've seen it.
I can't read.
No longer is the SWAC going to run through Jackson State with their former NFL defensive back coach. Ed Reed is now the coach of Bethune-Cookman, if you haven't seen that.
What?
Ed Reed.
So here's the question.
I saw where they announced that.
So here's the question from Jason Plotkin. Is he going to be more Ed McCaffrey than Deion Sanders?
Oh, Ed McCaffrey was terrible. Oh, God. He was awful.
I think Ed Reed's going to use nepotism to make his decisions like Ed McCaffrey did.
The lock?
Situation.
Yeah, no, Ed McCaffrey was banking off of prior experience, lineage, and other things. Ed Reed is a guy that players will. That's a straight up. They will fight for that man.
Yep.
You go to war with Ed Reed. Ed Reed's the kind of guy, silent warrior. Ed McCaffrey is,
idiot.
Ed Reed. He was the DB coach for the Bills for a year, and I know the guys loved him. So I think he's going to be just like Deion. He's going to have the swag that will get guys to come in.
Yeah,
He's a chesty puller from the Marines, where he's just like, he's going up the hill and you're like, I'm going right behind the hill with him. You're taking the hill with Ed Reed. I think it's a great hire.
Yeah,
Just
it's a great
for-
hire.
Just
It's
from
a
the
great hire.
things he. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say it's a great hire. I think the advantage though is that Bethune-Cookman is a bit behind Jackson State when it comes to things like facility and facilities and money and administration. So I think Ed Reed has got a bigger road ahead of him than maybe Dion had going into Jackson State. But if anybody can do it, it's Ed Reed. So I mean, it's a great hire for him.
Hey, I wouldn't mind going to live at Daytona Beach either. So
That's true.
just from some FGF geography, Brandon, did you know where that was?
No, I had to look him up.
Yes, he did.
But I mean, I was doing some reading on like where he was, and he's coming from Miami as chief of staff. I don't know what that necessarily means. I don't know if that's chief of staff over the athletic department or.
No, he just went and got coffee for the coach.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chad, can I if you don't have anybody, I would love to be the person who just pops in your room in Frisco quick and just hands you an old fashioned and disappears. If you
want to hand me old fashions, I'm not going to say no.
Perfect. You got it. I love that Pop Bottles hat, by the way. That thing is super.
You have to be willing to frog slash.
$5.
Oh my God.
$5. I bought this hat at Burlington Coat Factory. I bought it ironically. So, but then I thought,
I was going to guess
maybe
Burlington Coat
if we're, were you really? I've told you this story
Jesus
before.
Christ. No, you haven't.
Okay. Well, anyway, but hopefully, if everything goes right, we'll be popping bottles in Frisco.
That's right. But will you be able to outrun the security guard when you touch his field?
Don't underestimate me.
He's quicker than you think. I play softball with him. He just don't make him turn.
Yeah.
You think Isaiah Davis has a stiff arm? I've got some mass behind mine. It's a good 150 pounds over Davis.
Yeah, so Chad and I, it's like playing old school Mario Kart. We're like Bowser and Donkey Kong. You might start off slow, but once we get going, great until we hit a corner.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw you on rollerblades yesterday, Rev.
I know.
He's
Wasn't I?
So we've already got the drinking game set up. Are we going to do a rollerblading race too? I'll bring some blades down.
I've got blades
Me,
too.
you, and Dustin.
If you got size 13s, I'll outblade Dustin for sure.
I got 9 and 12s. So
I don't have rollerblades anymore.
Oh, sad. I got 13.
It's been
Just ice
20
skates.
years for me, but I can still be confident.
Sounds
Frisco-
like a challenge been thrown down.
Stadium security is pretty light. We could probably roll right in there. They're not going to care.
I mean, that's where starting to be destroyed anyway. Rollerblades won't hurt it.
Not
Oh,
that he
my
has
goodness.
any experience with that.
Matt's not wrong about stadium security. I basically walked in without showing my ticket last time. So
Yeah, they'll get you in there. It doesn't make sense because I've never seen security get people in so slow and check literally nothing.
Nothing.
It's the slowest process that doesn't stop anything as you wake your way through. But it's
I was
Imagine how it's gonna be
drunk
this-
and tired of waiting, and it was raining.
I am interested with Rainbow Road with SDSU if they win the title, because Thumper and Chad don't have to believe me here, but I was in Rainbow Road, which is the row based off of Mario Kart, which we called down there in Frisco. I was in it for the spring title game, and I was the only one not hooping and hollering when Sam Houston scored that touchdown. I was a little bummed because number one, I had a perfect bracket and I had SDSU winning. I was the only one who didn't pick them. But like Brandon and everybody else and Will, they were all cheering because the big three conference lost. Like that was their thing. They were like, yes, the big three conference lost. And so for me, I'm just thinking, man, that whole row, despite their allegiance, is all going to be rabbits all the way across.
Will, why aren't you on this?
Man.
Yeah,
they
where are you?
gonna
What are you
be
doing?
Will Siller get
Crazy.
on here?
Let's go,
Yeah.
Mr. Siller. Silly Mr.
Silly
Siller.
Siller. Jinx,
Oh,
you
yeah.
owe me Coke.
Probably watching it with Bailey.
We are way too much alike, I guess.
So I am curious from the Jackrabbit Illustrated folks about this pretty rockin' tailgate that is supposedly kicking off from you guys. You got any details on that whole thing?
We don't have the exact location nailed down yet. It will be. They will be getting set up right at the earliest that it can be set up. It's going to be It's going to have a lot of food. I don't know what else we're publicly saying. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be food, music. We're expecting up to 400 to 500 people at this thing. It's sponsored to the hilt. We're gonna have barbecue for food for the first 400 people. We're absolutely blown away. We kind of just put it out a little bit like, hey, can we get something together and maybe rent a tailgate rig? And when it was all said and done, we're sitting here going, so what else can we do? What else can we do? It's like we're reaching at ideas here because we're supplying some stuff, a bunch of food, obviously non-alcoholic beverages for liability purposes, that would be served by bartenders. It's gonna be off the chain. Like we could not believe. I think we've got 13 full-time major sponsors, businesses that donated, which was incredible. We just got a donation from a JMU fan. Gosh darn it, I got to look up his name because my man deserves a shout out. It was for from JMU fans. Yeah, I'm pulling it up. I'm getting there. I'm just going to fill radio time by saying nonsense.
Well,
all I can say is
Matt and I
Gregory or something.
Matt, I think we've got to post us up our FCS Fans Nation tailgate right up next to Jackrabbit.
We should. We absolutely want you guys right next to us. Glendon Reedy. What a legend. Frisco tailgate from JMU fans rooting for Jackson Frisco. So, all right. So we are saying it. We have legitimate bartenders that are checking IDs. And we will have beer.
This is in the lot. This is in the tailgate lot.
This is in the tailgate lot.
Right.
We
found a guy. We have 17 corporate sponsors.
Yes.
Jesus.
We didn't ask for a huge amount.
43 individual donations.
Yep, 43 individual donations, because what we did is we said we have our JI and hair raisers. We tailgate with the hair raisers. They're another SDSU pod. They're a little more off the cuff and like morning talk show like than we are. But we've tailgated with those guys for a while, and they're great guys. But we always have people coming up that come to the tailgate. I mean, our last tailgate for the semifinal, we've got 3 10 by 20 tents, and we had over 100 people in those tents. It was, I burned my leg on one of the heaters because it was so crammed when I was sliding through. Well, I didn't burn my leg; I melted my pants. So we get all these people who show up, and they're going, "Hey, what can we bring? What can I do? What can I do?" And it's like, there's 100 of you. If you all bring something, we're not going to have space in the tent for you. So chill. And so we said, hey, how about this time? Everybody's been asking if you want to do a tailgate with us, and this is your chance to pitch in, throw in $20 or whatever. And we are just absolutely blown away at the amount of people that have jumped in this. We can't even believe we are prepped for a huge amount of people. This should be a raging party. So I hope you guys are able to get right next to us, because you'll just probably become part of it if we get the amount of people we're expecting.
Even if you're wearing the wrong colors, we don't care.
Yeah.
I'm wearing your colors.
I'm wearing a bunny suit.
Boy.
I was speaking to the one dude that looks like a teenager playing basketball out there.
Matt, you do look like an NBA 2K creative player right now.
A little bit.
He's an NPC.
NBA Street.
The one created by the kid from North Dakota for sure.
I like to wear the FCS fans. I always wore last year the FCS Fans Nation shirt that's just yellow and green. So it's like a corporate spot. That's the little corporate sponsorship from us. So that's awesome, guys. Like seriously, that's insane that you're able to put something like that together. It's going to be such a rocking party, and that's a thing that's being undervalued this year. And is the most hilarious thing on Twitter to me and Facebook is North Dakotans and South Dakotans arguing like they're different people. That is the funniest thing that I see across social media.
That's
like
true.
Why they're better or worse than each other. And I'm like, listen, we don't have faces in mountains. You do. You have Deadwood. We don't. And that's mostly the cultural differences right there. And that's about it. I was like, no, it's like, look at, I do not want to get political or anything else, but man, look at everything else. It's crazy. North Dakota, South Dakota, same thing. Looks like an extra in a Disney movie.
It's like why you hate your dad, Matt, because you're the same person.
Let's be honest. The cool thing that I'm excited about with this is hopefully there's less issues than some would expect, just because it's going to be a lot of the OG fans and the ones that have been there forever. You know, I've tend to notice at both places, it's either the younger or the new fans that cause problems when they're in the stadium. And I got a feeling the vast majority of them won't be there. So I'm hoping that creates a lot. It's good. I mean, there's going to be plenty of tense moments, I'm sure, downtown at the bars of people being stupid, but hopefully that tones a lot of that down.
So
I figured
Brendan
SDSU
and
folks,
go ahead,
sorry, Jacob.
Dustin.
No, I was gonna say I figured the SDSU folks is only the top 5% of season ticket holders anyway who are showing up, so they're probably pretty chill out and buy.
No, that's the top 5% of ticket holders that got tickets from the university. A lot of us had bought them on the pre-sale.
Yeah.
The amount of people that actually have gotten it on pre-sale has kind of surprised me.
Higher than you
honestly.
might think.
I ran in my hair. The chick who cuts my hair was like, "Oh, you're going to Frisco?" After I talked about what I did that weekend for the semifinals, she's like, "You're going to Frisco? Me too. My brother got his tickets in August." I'm like, "Well, that's not who I expected, but awesome. Let's see you down there."
So I know Matt, Colin, and I are gonna do a recording down in Frisco. Jackrabbit Illustrated, are y'all gonna do anything? Go live? What are y'all doing down there from a podcast standpoint that people can look for?
Don't know if we have anything specifically planned for that yet or not. We've been so wound up about the tailgate because it got so big so
have a
fast.
party at the tailgate. Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Get to the tailgate.
Yes. So Matt, Kyler, and I will do a show down there. Matt, thinking about trying to put one together this week, aren't you?
Yep, we'll definitely do one kind of like fans get to ask the questions sort of thing on Sunday, and then hopefully, since we have Friday, Saturday time frame, I'll be able to put a little bit more editing power into what we'll reveal live down there Saturday, Sunday. Kind of more of a I already have some things in the works for it to feel more of like a college game day feel. So we live streamed that like 2 years ago, but it'll be a lot more fun to add some pre-edited clips throughout, just so people can get some good informational stuff ESPN would never talk about. So we're hoping it's going to be a really fun one for people to watch. But
so here's a question that we can
raise your hand if you have a Southwest fight and you're maybe a little worried that you might have to drive.
Delta.
American.
American.
Same. Delta. Yep. Brandon, you're driving, aren't you?
I am. I'm leaving at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh yeah, you're like 5 minutes away.
You're picking everybody up at DFW too, right, Brandon?
Absolutely not.
Brandon bus. He's the DD the whole time too, right?
Brandon, do you have an F-150 or other kind of truck? I'm just curious.
Huh?
Do you have an F-150 or what kind of truck do you drive?
Ford Escape.
Oh, so you don't have.
Never mind. He's not picking us up. I want to make it there.
So, I can answer this next
joke. I got it.
Yeah. We can answer this next question really easily. Do Bunny's fans have the same taste in Frisco restaurants? We went there in the spring. Yep.
I already pulled up receipts for this.
Yep.
I brought this up. Okay.
I thought tight ends was like, a football.
Taryn Christian was there too. So,
I thought tight ends was football.
Such a
I walked in and I'm like, oh, tight ends. Missed that.
To SDSU.
Taryn Christian was there and I introduced myself to him and didn't tell him where I went to school because I had an Eastern Washington hat on, so people would call me Kyler. But then I apologized for having to tell him where I went to school.
The thing is with Jamie and the JMU fans is like when I went with Lawrence and Jamie and them to the JMU fan bars, like it was like when I would go out with my brother in DC and we'd go to these places and people are drinking like these whiskeys and it's this high-end place and we're by the Star. Like it was like a different culture and vibe, and it was a blast. I had so much fun with the JMU fans, but I find it hard to believe that SDSU fans and NDSU fans are going to be in like completely separate bars. They're going to be in the restaurants and everywhere else. Now, SDSU might not do it so much that Fargo, that Brookings builds a Twin Peaks like what happened in Fargo. But
Yeah, that's the thing that just blew me away. Honestly, it living in Fargo like I did, when all of a sudden the school radio station is hosting basically out of Hooters. I was like, wow, guy, like, hey, no hate. That's nothing wrong with that. I get it. That's fine. But wow, that's pretty wild. I've never heard a school sponsored function be.
Those girls got to pay their tuition somehow, Brendan.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not knocking it. It just kind of like, I was like, oh, Jesus. Okay, cool. All right, do it, man. That's what surprised me about the whole thing.
see, and I think generationally, like my generation under is like 33 and under, especially from the years we've gone to Frisco. You never been able to go to like restaurants all day and just spend hundreds of dollars on really a bunch of all these expensive drinks. So basically the restaurant thing is like literally there's probably, if you go back 9-10 years, probably at that time 48-year-olds to 60-year-old farmers who just sit there for 4 days and spend
drink Busch
hundreds of thousands of dollars at these things. But the young kids, that's really not as much the young crowd that goes there.
Right.
But
I'll tell you a story about Lesterville, South Dakota someday.
Oh my God.
there can be a lot of fun.
You want to talk about old farmers?
About Lesterville.
Not here.
Oh.
That'll be, we're drinking in Frisco. We'll converse. Look,
Yeah,
I'm just
whatever.
saying this.
10 turnover Jamie Williams.
I get.
I didn't say that. Somebody else did.
You put that up there. I saw it. That's an NDSU fan, by the way.
Yeah, that's one of NDSU fans' favorite things. She's gonna
regret this
so
statement.
hard. She can't wait now. For now, and she's like, I'm not gonna drink that much down there.
Do I get to meet her?
She's gonna hate me by the weekend.
Who is this Ariel woman that you speak of, Brendan? Chad.
My wife and her are kind of besties. Whatever.
Yeah.
Jace Hollenbeck, Lesterville during pheasant season, basically Vegas.
It's
he's talking about Dallas actually, and that's a hole in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota. We have like 5 strip clubs in the whole state, and everybody knows where they're at. Lesterville's 2 of them.
You should see Hurley, Wisconsin. They've got 6 in a town of 1,200 people.
I don't know about Hurley, but I've been to Freedom, Wisconsin. Cheers.
Anyways, this is getting a little out of bounds.
Oh, all right.
We'll have plenty.
You guys let the B team guys on here.
Yeah, we'll just drag you down to our level.
Conversation that we need.
That's right. All right. 52 minutes in, and we've kind of devolved into nothing.
Yeah,
this feels like a really
here's the thing about this game. You think about it from an SDSU or NDSU fan perspective, and there's all the excitement for the game, but from like a podcaster standpoint or someone who's talking about the game, it's kind of like everybody knows what you have to do.
Yeah,
because like that hasn't changed for a decade. The big concern for me, each team's going to try to make the other one-dimensional by taking away the run game, because that's how you beat both teams. The huge difference is having both Mostert twins back for NDSU. Will the 605 Hawks be able to handle those guys and still crack open running lanes? And will Easton Stick be successful?
That's the second
and
time
how will the
Jets?
Jets?
Easton, buddy.
Wow, I did it twice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm sorry to Easton.
Easton Stick would be a way worse guy to have to play.
He doesn't deserve to have that thrown on him. I'm sorry, Easton. That wasn't very nice. But now I've lost my whole train of thought. I got nothing. Can they pass the ball? Can NDSU pass the ball? And will
Cam Miller?
Yeah, Cam Miller. Will he be Cam Miller or Cam Whiteclaw? Which that was a stupid penalty.
That was a stupid penalty. We all agree that's a stupid penalty.
But at the same token, SDSU fans have been yelling, screaming for the Yankee Twins to stop doing that shit all year. So
for sure.
But
if you don't do it, you don't have to worry about it.
But they do it like this.
Right.
They close their fist, then they come across. So
and that's the difference.
I guess.
The difference is you can tell who bow hunts more often or not. Because honestly, Cam Miller bow hunts because he's pulling back with 2 fingers.
Okay.
He's got a girlfriend,
He's got it down. We
Oh,
are
damn it.
live.
I'm a big boy show. All right.
I want to point
y'all are
out this
welcome.
comment real quick. My boy Ron Lowney says Montana used to be part of the Dakotas, and then we evolved, which might be fair, but the championship stayed in the Dakotas, Ron, not in Montana. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. The Dubs didn't make it quite cross that line.
You know what, Brennan? What
I'm
you were
sorry.
saying? What you were saying, Thumper, I'm interested in because you and I were texting the whole game. For the most part, we texted the majority of the game
So
in the
mad
dome.
that first half.
Well, that first half, I kept texting you. I was like, "You guys should put 2 blockers on Spencer Wage," and you're like, "I know." And then like he does 2 pressures in a row. I'm like, "You should block Spencer Wagey." Like it's just like over and over and over.
Yeah.
And then some of the unwritten stats a lot of people. You weren't on your Thumper, but I keep saying it's bad that folks just talk about incarnate word like it's the season. What's so interesting about the NDSU SDSU game is Gronowski had 0 touchdowns, and it was 2 rushing touchdowns and then all field goals. And then Cam Miller actually threw 17 for 22. Like, so the idea that you could use playoff matchups for SDSU or NDSU to comp this game, totally false narrative. But what is true is SDSU has the virtual advantage in basically every category. If they mentally show up the way they typically have played the last 3-4 years against NDSU with that mental psyche to go in like killers and know that these guys are not more, they're not better than us. They're not more special than us. There's nothing special about them. They're going to be tough to beat for North Dakota State. I think that's just the one thing. That mental psyche could really change a lot of stuff. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be fun.
I think everybody's going to be surprised that this game is going to be a completely different game than what we saw in Fargo.
7-3.
It's
Yeah,
not.
7.
No, it's not going to be that. There's no way.
The problem is South Dakota.
I'd
State
love
can't
it, but
ice
that's not
the
going to be it.
Ariel joined a little late, so because he's special and
Ariel,
he took a shot. Watch the replay, so you can smack him in Frisco.
you'll want to hit me if I repeat the slam from the beginning. Thumper,
I mean, she might hit you
It
anyway.
was pretty good. I thought of it earlier today. It wasn't too bad.
Ugh.
But basically, I've switched over to the bunny side from the bison, and I was confused because typically it's basketball season right now at the end of December. So figured I'd throw my jersey on.
Well played.
Wow.
JSU.
I mean,
Okay.
you remind
Wait,
me
between
of
these
the,
2 teams?
I'm
Probably.
surprised you have a
these two
basketball
teams?
jersey because NDSU doesn't seem to care about theirs until March. So
Thumper, before we start talking smack, this is from like high school practice jersey. It says Maple.
it looks like it is.
It's just
does anybody else
Pull
think
this out from the
he
depths.
reminds him of like a skinny version of Philip Seymour Hoffman
Vandal.
in that one movie?
Like,
I've
that
been-
Make
one
it
movie he was in?
rain.
I've been comped to that scrawny dude on the movie The New Guy, and
oh
yes.
You do look
And
like DJ Cole. I can see
give
that.
me another 10 years, I'm gonna look just like the dude off Whose Line It Is In anyways, the big nosed tall dude. Yep.
Oh.
Just like that guy. Yep.
Yes.
My celebrity comps are the most unattractive men in Hollywood.
Or the kid from Rugrats. Who knows?
Yeah. Throw him in there too.
Jesus. Yeah.
Hey, it's my 9-year wedding anniversary tomorrow for Allison and I. She can't back out now. We're too far down the line. So yep, she's stuck with me.
You boys got game.
Yep.
Congrats, buddy.
Hey, congratulations. Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Oh God, we're
There
pulling
you
him
go.
up. Here
Yeah,
we go.
Ah, there we
Quayle.
go.
There he is. Yep.
Yep.
That's the guy.
Oh my God.
He looks good in glasses. I should.
Oh, he was great in Road Trip. It was epic. One of the
Was
best
a
roads ever did was Road Trip.
All right, fellas. I think I am gonna at an hour here call it a night for me, as I'm on the East Coast. Old, got to go to sleep and whatnot. But
Yeah, I mean, it's
Sure.
not.
I will see all of you in a little over a week. Matt, everybody, I'm sure we'll be talking.
I am.
Everybody have a good time. Keep it going, and we'll see.
I-
you all.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be rolling out here soon. I just want to say, Jackrabbit guys, are you guys down on Friday? Are you going to be there Thursday, Friday-ish? Or are you
I'll be
there
there
Saturday?
Thursday. Most
think
everybody
it's
else is
Friday.
Friday.
Okay, you'll be there Friday.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
picking Brendan up from the airport. So
Thursday.
We'll
Thursday.
don't let Matt get away with a big nose crack.
Sorry,
it'll-
Kevin. Could protect your chosen people with that one.
It'll be fun to hang out with you guys. I'm looking
Is that a
forward to it.
crack block? I heard those are illegal.
Oh, that's cutting outside the tackles.
You can't do that.
Well, I know this is what the team that thinks they're going to lose says, but I really am going to enjoy hanging out with you guys over those couple days, talking through screens and texts, whatever, but it'll be fun to actually see in Frisco, have some beers, do some things. 4 hours of stress, win or lose. We'll see how it goes, but hopefully the weekend itself will just be great as a good memory, regardless of the whatever happens on the field. So
see you guys in a week.
See you, Jamie.
Boom for
See
me.
you, Jamie.
Does NDSU run for more or less yards than Matt Sluka? Well, North Dakota State last time when they played ran for under 150. So
less, hands down.
Yeah, I
beat it by 2 yards, 215.
If they run for more, it's because I almost said Easton Stick again. Because
Cam Miller.
Cam Miller. I don't know. I've never done this, and now I can't.
No, you haven't.
Cam Miller does what Cam Miller would have to do what Matt Sluka did, and that is bail out of the pocket and make some plays after the first read with his legs, because that's what actually gassed the Jacks. It wasn't the quarterback runs. Yeah, he had a couple bigger ones, but he absolutely murdered them on pass plays where he took off out of the pocket.
Yeah. I think the prop bet should be, will Cam Miller complete more than one pass in the national championship?
Right.
God, I hope.
Let's go more than 5. More than 5.
They've got.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he. I said that in the third quarter of that Incarnate Word game. My buddy Ross turns to me and goes, "We've completed one freaking pass." And I said to him, I hope we win and it stays this way. How epic would that be? That's Ross and I's dynamic. He's just upset, angry, and negative. And I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if we win with one pass? That'd be sick. And then it happened. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever.
I'm the upset, angry one.
If we don't yell at each other, it's going to be weird because we're not sitting next to each other. We've sat next to, we have season tickets with each other, and we won't be sitting next to each other this game. So I don't know who I'm going to get in a shouting match with now.
I'll shout with you in my bunny costume.
Baby.
Probably whoever.
You won't be able to text because the coverage is going to be terrible in that stadium. It is it's worse than the Dome, which is hard to pull off.
Does it matter whether you have Verizon or AT&T?
Oh, it's
terrible.
It's all garbage. It's terrible either way.
All garbage.
Dead zone.
It's basically the Fargo Dome then.
It's even worse, which is unbelievable because the Dome is awful. So, here we go, Rev. This is the question here.
This is the money shot.
Here's the problem. I don't think it's going to happen this year.
Because I don't know if you're drunk and SDSU.
Oh no, that's right.
No, I'm not. I won't be drunk because I got to drive to the airport after the game. But I'm also wearing a rabbit suit. That's gonna be really hard to go shirtless.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be wearing a bunny suit.
Shirtless and pantless. Just you're one zipper away from being a.
You just wear the head shirtless.
And if Brendan is drunk next to me, that could turn really bad real quickly once he sees there's a zipper. That's just keeping everything together.
It's gonna be the best. It's gonna be the best.
Oh my goodness. Well, gentlemen, I'm looking forward to being down there. It'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll stay in communication, obviously, right when everybody arrives, mostly Friday, and hopefully see you guys out at the bars and everything. I've kind of done the buys and bars a lot. In the last couple of years, I've basically said to Jamie and Kyler, let's go to the opposing fans. So where South Dakota State's kind of hanging and where you guys are at, if you're out at places, make sure to let us know, and we'll come by and see you.
This is what we need to figure out as a group is where should we meet up Friday night once everybody gets in, because last year it was Scruffy's, and that is mainly NDSU. So
Scruffy Duffy.
Yeah, that's a really bison heavy one. We'll kind of just play it by ear.
They're all kind of bison heavy because I think that's who butters their bread. But
they're all gonna be bison heavy.
Historically,
it is shocking, and it is. I can see it in my mind. I can remember it. It was crazy to drive through Frisco in 2011. I was like, is this smaller than Fargo? Like it was nothing. Like I wouldn't say nothing. I mean, it's still bigger than most North Dakota, South Dakota towns, but it is crazy what Frisco was in 2011 to right now. Like I know it's one of the largest growing cities in America, but like where the stadium was in the middle of nowhere. It was like old elevator that they hadn't demolished yet. And Toyota Stadium, and then wide open nothing. Crazy what it
was still that way for the 2015 national championship.
Even for JSU, there wasn't that much up there. But what it is
when
now,
when the band came up that road, we were like, "What is all of this?" Like
old grain elevator.
I get we were literally like, "Well, I guess this is Texas, just wide open spaces, even in the city."
Yeah. When I left Dallas in 2003. Stonebriar Mall was the edge of North Dallas. After that, there was nothing. There was farm. Like Frisco didn't exist. It was just farms. And then now it's, straight suburbs from Dallas up to McKinney and almost to the Oklahoma border. It's insane just how quickly that area has just exploded, even in the past 3 years, let alone the past 10.
Yeah, Frisco in 2011 had 123,000 people. It's currently at 215,000, and that doesn't include Plano and, like you said, McKinney, which have blown up all around it. So you're talking huge expansion over the last decade, which is crazy.
Kind of like
people. I want to address real quick something that I've seen on the site, because we always see it on the page this time of year. It's like, we should move the Natty to another city. Where the hell are you going to move it to? That one has
maybe back to Chattanooga.
No, because it's a bitch to get to Chattanooga. Okay, so having it in a place like Frisco, which is near 2 major airports in Dallas, it's easier for fans and teams to get in. So it's not going to go back to Chatty. It's not going to go someplace in Florida because of like the cost and stuff like that. Like, yes, the turf's rough, but they have some time now between the games this year. They didn't do the Frisco or whatever it was, the Frisco Bowl or the whatever game it was last year where they had 3. They only had 2 this time. So there's time, for the turf to be kind of taken care of. So maybe it won't suck this year. But again, where else are you going to put it centralized? You can put it in Minneapolis and do it at one of the stadiums there. But again, you're going to deal with shit ass weather the whole time for that. So
here's the problem
where it is.
I'm glad it's not in Minneapolis. I'm just going to say that. Because that's like the single largest alumni center for NDSU, right?
Yeah.
We're
also
probably 30% or less of the crowd if it's in US Bank.
It's really, really cold too. Like I'm with Brandon on the mentality of the weather though. It is disappointing even to see like people are now like 58, perfect football weather. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, it's also a trip. Like I wouldn't mind going somewhere where you at least hit into the 70s. And I'm always a little disappointed.
In Vegas,
Well, here's the issue.
Well, the only other city that I know of that's interested is Birmingham, and it would be held at Protective Stadium, which seats 55,000.
That'd be cool.
You bring up a great point, Brandon. If you listen to Sam Herder, I think when he was interviewing the guy who used to be the Big Sky commissioner, and he talks about it. And he talks about the amount of cities that bid. You can't just go, we're moving it to Vegas. Vegas has got to want it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a bidding process. And there was all of like 2 cities there. When it got moved to Frisco, there was 3 cities that bid on it: Chattanooga, Frisco, and freaking Missoula, which
I thought it was 4. I thought Little Rock also bid.
That's the only way Missoula will have a championship.
I think he said 3, if I remember right.
It was 3.
It was 3. And it was Missoula, which, look, I love going to Montana. I love going to Montana in the winter. I go skiing all the time. It's a blast. But I don't know about them. And I love being in the cold, but it's kind of nice to have a national championship game where weather's not the factor, because the temperatures in December in Brookings or Montana are ridiculous. In January, look, I love cold football. That's my thing. That's my jam. But for a national title game, that's just not it. And when you only have 2 other places bidding on it, what are you going to do? Put a gun to Minneapolis's head or Vegas's head and say you're hosting it?
Thumper, you make the great argument that NDSU fans keep saying about the FBS. They're like, why don't you go FBS? It's like, yeah, we'll just kick in the door and we'll just jump in the MAC because we can just do that. But it's same thing with the Frisco. Exactly what you said. If only 3 cities are bidding and one gives way more money, it's just there's nothing you can do to control that outside of that. But gents, I do got to go. Great to see you all, and we'll be in communication for Frisco. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I'll see you. I'm gonna hit the Dusty Trail as well.
Dad joke
this thing.
Dad joke to end the night. I'll see you guys next year.
I'm gonna Jason's thing real quick before we go. It's Southland leaves Frisco. Is that impact title game site? Probably not, because the WAC is headquartered in Dallas now. Anyway, the WAC could take over it. So don't see that being so much of an issue. It's just a matter of who wants it. But I mean, 2, the D3 that was at the Amos Stagg Bowl is now in McKinney.
Right.
Like, everybody's moving their stuff to Dallas for a reason. So let's just keep it at that.
But I will also say, the mayor of Birmingham has specifically come out saying that he wants the FCS national championship in Birmingham, and
Yeah.
Birmingham is continuing to grow. Like the growth from 2015 to now, I mean, Birmingham does not look the same.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. So, it'll be interesting. I guess Brendan, you said you're about to roll out too.
Yeah.
Ariel's going to start demanding it in chat. So I guess we can close it out, guys. Thanks everybody for jumping on this. My apologies for being late. It was kind of an odd day today. For you North Dakota State, South Dakota State guys, hopefully I run into you guys in Frisco. Really, I mean, I've seen a lot of North Dakota State guys before, but for all the SDSU folks who I haven't met, who I've interacted with personally, I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one of you, including Chad. So I'm going to, on behalf of Chad, Brandon, Brendan, everybody else who was on tonight, hopefully we see you in Frisco. Hopefully everybody has a blast. Keep safe. Happy holidays. Have a safe new year. Don't drink and drive. We'll see you guys in a week. Peace.
Boom.
See you in a week. Boom.